and minuses in the same box. All right? But the size of your plus and the size of your minus will dictate how much you learn. So a really big plus means you learned a lot of positive. A little minus means that you learned a little bit of negative. All right? And a 0 means that you didn't have that conversation or hadn't been exposed to that. When you do this, think about whatever time frame is appropriate for you. It could be growing up. It could be now. It could be your whole entire life. However you want to look at that is up to you. All right? I'll give you just a couple of minutes, and then we're going to come back and talk about that. All right? So go ahead and get started. Thanks. I'll give you just a couple more minutes. And stop. The rest is homework. All right? What I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to get with 2 or 3 people, and I want you to talk about what you have on your card. All right? So if you can get with 2 or 3 people and just talk about what you have on your card.
I was trying to figure out whether or not to know it all.
It's just like being in the service and car dealership. If you bring your car and it's broken, then it costs you $1,000 to drive it again. And what do you get out of that? They're paying a bill that people don't use the electricity or whatever. What are they getting from it? You were close to it. I learned more about that at work.
I don't want to know what you have in your cars because that's kind of none of my business, and I want you to think about that stuff later. But I am curious about any themes that may have come up in your conversations. Were there any themes or thoughts that came up in your conversation that would be good for all of us to hear or talk about?
TV, I think, has a tendency to stereotype certain groups.
Okay. So TV has a tendency to stereotype certain groups. Okay.
Previous generations had more prejudices.
Okay. Previous generations had more prejudice. All right.
Growing up in St. Peter, we didn't encounter a lot of those different diverse groups of people.
Okay.
Other than if they were Gusties.
Okay. What's a gusty?
Gusties.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So just not having that exposure, what were we going to say, sir?
Yeah, once you're exposed to it, you have a tendency to be more aware of it.
Okay. Once you're exposed to it, you have a tendency to be more aware of it. All right.
One bad experience with one certain group and leave a bad taste in your mouth.
Okay. So one experience with a person from a group can leave a bad taste in your mouth. All right. Cool. So this is my next level of question. Were there any emotions or thoughts as you were going through those categories that came up for you as an individual? And what were some of those thoughts or those emotions that may have come up for you as you were filling out those blocks?
I thought I did a better job raising my kids in a lot of areas than what I raised.
Okay, so you did a better job with your kids than how you were raised. Very good. Yeah. What else?
Time had a difference in how you perceive things going through it. For example, to see different nationalities, I was probably age 10, right?
Okay.
Then,
So
when you're 18, you're drafted, so it's like, oh, world's turned around.
okay. So time had something to do with that. The changes in society had something to do with that. Being drafted into the military had something to do with that. Okay. Other thoughts?
I think, at least with mine, the younger you are, and I thought of this as growing up and younger, and I had more negative
Okay.
than I do now with my personal experience.
So you had more negatives.
Thinking about growing up with
So
it,
thinking
and
about
then-
growing up.
And then with my personal experience now, I related it to more the present.
Okay.
So I had more negative growing up with the parents and the family, with the different diverse groups than I do with my own personal present with people now.
Okay. So growing up, right? Why do you think that people were more prejudiced back, as the kids would say, in the day?
Less exposure.
Less exposure.
Well, some of it's just the social times. I mean, we had down south, I mean, we had segregated schools and restrooms. I mean, it just was the way it was.
But why?
But some,
It's a learned behavior.
But why?
it goes back to the slavery issues and back in our early history, doesn't it? So,
Yes, but why?
Because they're
Why
different.
does the, what's that?
Because they're different.
Because they're different? Why did the baby fall down? He learned it. Learning is not the same as being hereditary, right? He learned it. And why did he learn that falling
That's what he
down?
was taught.
He was taught